Hey guys, thanks for tuning into this live stream of Bits and Tokens. I'm Annalise.
And I am Tim.
And he is Tim. Tim, you're fantastic. I want you to know that. But anyways, guys, we're all here today for a very special reason. And we all know why. Because Bitcoin is about to hit 14,000. Right now, Bitcoin is at a all-time high for the entire year right now. It hit almost 14,000 if I'm not mistaken. Its highest peak was $13,961.45, which is super awesome. Very, very, very close to that 14, which is what we're looking for today. We'll throw a chart back here just in a second. Make sure you guys chat down below. Well, not down below, but off to the side is where we'll see it. Just keep a conversation going. This is kind of like a watch party is kind of what I wanted to do. Kind of just like a little chat room for you guys. So other people like us can just, kind of just talk amongst themselves. But if you didn't catch this live, make sure to drop some comments down below and keep the conversation going, because this is an all-time just wonderful experience. Like, this is fantastic. I'm super excited. Right now, Bitcoin is up positive 21.53%. It's moving, but it's up there right now. Now, if you look at indicators, right, a lot of stuff won't make sense just because Bitcoin is so volatile. Cryptocurrency in general is very volatile. Right now, Bitcoin is king. It's not a good time to be in a lot of the altcoins. I'm sure many of you have noticed that. Ethereum is not too bad, but it's definitely not gaining as much traction as Bitcoin right now. There's no other currency that's sweeping the floor like Bitcoin. If you guys remember back even a few months ago, Bitcoin was at, not even a few months ago, that was just like the other day. Okay, so last time, I want to say probably a peak where Bitcoin was pretty low. Let's say April. April's a good month. Even if you go back to April, Bitcoin was still in its low 3,000s. So, I mean, for it to be right now almost hitting 14, that is, my friends, that is beautiful. There's nothing more beautiful than that. It's like a rocket launch. This is a rocket launch right now. Look at that chart. Look at that chart going up to that 20,000 mark again. And that's also something I want to talk about. The prices at which a lot of people are, I guess, projecting Bitcoin. I've heard a number of prices. Honestly, mathematically, what made sense when someone did the math, he was a professor at a university, was about 350,000, which is like, whoa. So like right now where we are, it's nothing, right? Of course, the next major bull run, this may or may not be it. Right now, it appears to be a pretty good run for the time being, but the world may never know. Not until we get there anyways. I've heard a high of 200,000, 250. It really varies. Different people have different analysis that they make to come up with these numbers. But it honestly depends not only on, I guess, what's put out there in the media, which it has triumphed. People have looked past that negativity and have actually just went in and trusted the currency, trusted the blockchain, which is what I'm excited for. So, hey Tim.
Hello.
What's up?
You tell me.
You give me some input. I'm just talking over here. I want some input from you.
The
my
price
awesome friend.
is increasing.
The price is increasing. Okay, well, the price is increasing. And what do you feel about, I guess, all the analysis and all the stuff that's going on right now?
What? What analysis? What does that mean?
What is your analysis on Bitcoin? Because right now it's shooting up. Oh, it's getting close to that 14,000 again. It's at 13,937. So we're peaking in the 900s again. It's getting there. So, I mean, how do you feel about this little run? What's your intake on it?
It appears that people are more willing to part with their hard-earned cash currently than they previously were, and so the price has increased based on that.
Do you need a charger? Hold on. One moment, guys. Here you go.
Thanks.
You're welcome. All right. So yes, as we can see, actively fiat in its natural state, which is fiat, is not as appealing as it could be, and that's a fact. So, honestly, Bitcoin's toggling along here, and I'm gonna be the first one to say that I didn't think that it was gonna jump this high. I honestly thought it was gonna be a mini bull run like we had last time back in November, December. That's when Bitcoin Cash took off. I want to say that's when the altcoin boom was more of a thing rather than the little Bitcoin boom. Bitcoin took a little run, but it wasn't anything major. Right now, it's a Bitcoin boom, and not the altcoins are not doing so high. Some of them are doing okay, but honestly, it's nothing like Bitcoin prices. There's actually a good amount of them that are in the negatives. Do you mind pulling up one of the that little, oh god, what's it called? The market cap chart, the one with the colors and the green and the blues. Just green and red, I'm sorry. But yeah, so for the most part, I'm looking down the list right now. There's a good amount of them that are in the green, but it's nothing like, yeah, like before in the past, you would see the majority of those smaller altcoins, they would be in the green as well. Right now, the bigger altcoins are in the green. Meanwhile, a lot of those are in the red. If you see off to that corner right there, it's bleeding. That chart's bleeding. It looks like a Tetris, some abstract art over there. But anyways, as you can see, like I said, the bigger altcoins, they're making numbers, but nothing's making that 21% like Bitcoin is today. Bitcoin's just taken off, and it's been taking off for a while now. Ever since, I want to say, the 20, well, actually, no, that's when it really took off. Let's see. Let's back out of my chart here. I have multiple charts up. You seem very unamused. Tim?
Annalise.
You seem unamused. Is everything okay? Would you like some chips? I have chips.
I would not like chips.
Oh. Well. If I can back out of my chart here. Well, I don't think, let's do a month. Yeah, so over the past month, and that was when, God, it hit even the twos. That's back in, I want to say it really started taking off. So we saw some increases overall on a month-to-month basis ever since January, technically. It was taking off a little bit. It's been on a steady incremental increase. If you look at a 1 month chart, it's a green candle since the beginning of the year. Obviously it's varied day by day, but it really started taking off as of April. April is really when we saw some increase. It went from mid to low 5,000s to 9,000. 9,000 was a peak in April, and then of course May, and now June. So that's where we are right now. Going strong. It is going strong. Whoop. Hey Coop, what's up? Going strong. All right, guys. So let's go back to our chart here. Like I said, this is just like a little watch party I want to do with everyone. Can we zoom in on our wonderful chart there? So look at those wonderful candles. I just love those candles. Those green candles are just fantastic. They make me so happy. Let's take a look here. Depending on what exchange you're on, it really varies on what price you see, but I'm right now on Binance. I'm looking at my chart off Binance. Tim's pulling it up from TradingView. I'm not sure which exchange it's pulling from, but Bitstamp. Bitstamp is where that chart's pulling from. It's in the higher, like I said, 13,000s, very close to that 14,000 mark, which is what I'm really excited for. That is what I'm looking forward to, because there is nothing in the world that makes me more happy than a strong bull run. because that's what we all been looking for. And it's not even about the money. It's about the technology, because that's honestly what we're all here for. That is the best part about all this. Okay, let's take a look here. So, as you can see, there's a ticker that's going live at the bottom as well, giving you like little live updates of the price of Bitcoin. So you can keep your eye on that as well. Yeah, so it looks like the 24-hour low was $11,384. And the high is $13,961. That is like a $2,000 difference, and it makes me so happy. That makes me so happy. I hope you guys can tell how happy I am, because I'm super happy. But feel free to put your guys' input in, because I love to hear input, just how you're feeling about the market, how you view the market, all that. Feel free to just drop some comments in the chat box over to the side, because I do love me some banter. How are your Bitcoin holdings doing, Tim?
I don't have any.
You don't have any? Oh, my heart. Do you have altcoins? Is that what you're holding on to right now?
No.
No. Well, what are you doing?
Sitting down currently.
Well, I know that. Currently, my holdings, they're doing pretty well. Everything's in the positive, of course. So with my thing, I'm actually kind of upset because I changed my password yesterday. I had some Bitcoin Cash, and I had traded it in for some Bitcoin. However, when I had done that, I had updated my password, because I used to have my Bitcoin Cash over on Binance before it split. So Bitcoin SV, of course, got delisted, and I had to send it over to Bitfinex. And that was a whole thing. So I traded it from my Bitcoin Cash over to some Bitcoin on Bitfinex about, I want to say, a month ago. So that's doing fantastic. And the only thing is that when I logged in yesterday to switch it back over to a different exchange or put it on my wallet, because I'm probably just going to hold it, I changed my password, and they won't let me withdraw it until the beginning of July, which made me a little sad. But, you know, as long as it's safe. Worst case scenario at this rate, yeah, Lee, tell him to cheer up, because I don't know what's wrong with him. He's just sad inside, and it makes me sad inside. I offered him some chips, but he doesn't want any chips. I like chips. But it kind of makes me sad, because I wanted to put it on, I wanted to store it on a wallet, because obviously don't keep your crypto on an exchange. That is the worst thing for you. Worst thing for you. But hey, I'm kind of just holding in there. It won't let me withdraw it overall, but that's my story on, I guess, my Bitcoin oops. Haven't had a lot of oops so far. It's just been a lot of positive yays, so I'm good with that. So a lot of people have been saying that this run has been due to some volatility of Bitcoin, especially in India, because of the Facebook Libra. That seems to be one of the stories that I see the most. That is a reason why the price of Bitcoin has been affected. I want to say that's probably the top one that I've heard. Other ones, kind of like Tim said, is people are just having more trust in the crypto. They are putting their money where they feel like it's worth. Fiat at this rate is not, something, it loses value every day. If you guys know anything about Forex and the way Forex works, essentially Forex is a foreign monetary exchange. You trade, the US dollar against the Canadian dollar, against the British pound, against whatever. And what you're doing is you're trading in contracts. So every time somebody puts in a trade for a contract and they're trading amongst each other, that is how they make money through Forex, through the margin and leverage trading of the contracts. However, like I said, over time, it just, the currency itself devalues because of inflation. People, they start printing more monies. And that's why Bitcoin will always be king, because you can't print more Bitcoin. You can only mint and mine as much as there's made, which is, what's Bitcoin's, the current supply, let me see.
21 million.
21 million.
Is
so
the max.
The max is 21 million. Current circulation is, God, look at that volume. I just want to talk about this volume real quick. USD volume right now on, this is just Binance's exchange, by the way. Right now the volume is 1,530,006. Actually, that's 1 billion. Oh my God, 1,530,671,691.87. That's fantastic. That's a fantastic number. I just want you guys to know that because that's a fantastic number. So where was I? So that's one of the reasons that people think that Bitcoin's on a run because of Facebook Libra. They're thinking India apparently had that whole ban, of course, with the Supreme Court because of the rupees, and the Indian Reserve, thought that Bitcoin was a scam and they were trying to protect their people or whatever. And because Facebook Libra was announced, which is actually not coming out until next year, 2020, for those of you who didn't know, apparently a lot of Indians got some validity that because Facebook was getting into crypto, okay, well, now I can get into crypto. So that was a whole thing. Let's take a look here. All right, so I'm just going to look at some articles while we watch this price because it's really fluctuating right now between 13,800 and 13,900. I'm really waiting for it to hit that 14K mark. That's what I'm excited for. But I'm just going to pull up some articles here, see what's going on. Bitcoin rallies 15%. Well, honey, it's at 21%. 15% is an understatement. So I'm seeing a lot of stuff from the SEC, and I saw something on LinkedIn yesterday about it as well, talking about how they're bashing the way the U.S. is approaching Bitcoin and things like that, which I'm hoping that maybe because of this, maybe some more validity will be gained amongst the United States, and they try not to be so harsh on the currency. I mean, obviously, government interference with crypto in general is just destructive, and we should really kind of just, stay away from all that. But government's not going anywhere, unfortunately. And if they ban it, which they can't, that's really not a thing. That doesn't exist. That's only going to want people to possibly try to get a hand of it more. However, that's bad for adoption. So it's going to be one of those like 50-50 things where only a very small like niche of people, which probably are in it right now, can get access to this, and the bigger crowd is going to see Bitcoin as this big bad guy. So I mean, I highly doubt they're ever going to try that, but that's that. Breaks 13,000. Already broke that, baby. Woo. One hit that 14K. So Square rolls out. So I heard about that yesterday. So Square, you used to be able to withdraw your Bitcoin from Square and put it on a wallet. Now with Square, you can actually deposit your Bitcoin onto your Cash App, which is cool. I mean, I wouldn't put my Bitcoin there personally, just because there's other platforms that I use. Not your keys, not your coins, but to each his own.
I think that's more for cashing out than it is for.
So,
like, what's your exit strategy? Like, how do you turn Bitcoin back into fiat?
That's true. That's a good point.
Like Coinbase, probably, right?
That's a good point.
But
yeah.
if you don't want to use Coinbase, where else do you go?
You could go to Cash App. You're right. That is a good point. Didn't think about that one. That's not a bad analysis there.
I think that's just the way they rolled that out just in time to be able to catch the actual major wave. Because if we're looking at, like, let's say a wave 1 right now, you would have to imagine that by the time we get to the third wave, it's going to be ridiculous. So,
right.
If I can start accepting Bitcoin now and giving fiat for it, why wouldn't I do that when I know that it's going to be worth $300,000 one day? Probably soon. So.
Well, we are in the early stages. I was speaking to someone yesterday who had a professor way back when who started one of the first blockchain classes over at UCLA. And I mean, historically, a year out after the happening, that's when really crypto takes off. We're starting to see that wave 1, kind of like Tim said, where it's starting to take off, but really it hasn't really taken off yet. A year out, probably like late 2020, 2021, that's really where stuff is going to start like really popping off, based on a lot of analysis that I've seen for the most part. But it is a good time to, I don't want to say, you see the price flying right now. It's a good time to get in at any point in time, to be honest, personally, just because Bitcoin is just going to keep going up. It's never going to stop. Bitcoin's never going to erase. It can't get off the internet. It's immutable. It's always going to be there. So all that's going to happen is that people are just going to all have, their Bitcoin kind of just stored up. And you're going to want to get your hands on it. Someone's going to want to get their hands on Bitcoin. And when it's all gone, I mean, that's only going to make the price drive up, which at that point in time, that's when Bitcoin price, I feel like, would be more stable. When there is no more, I guess, I don't want to say circulating supply, but there's no more amount that can just be bought up that needs to be mined. When all the Bitcoin is mined and it's kind of just circulating on the market, that's when I feel like the price would be more stable, in my opinion, from what I've seen.
You said when all of it is mined?
Yeah. That's when I feel the price would be more stable.
Why would the price be more stable?
It's all out there. So I mean that, and probably
also, technically it can never be all mined. That's kind of the point.
So I mean, let me see. Okay, let me go back to, actually recorded something on it.
The halving means that the block reward for completing or mining a block, solving the computational problem necessary to add a new block to the chain, halving is just decreasing that reward by half.
Right.
So instead of 12.5,
miners don't get paid as much.
Right, which should be fine because it's supposed to go in line with the actual price of Bitcoin anyway. But if it's always cut in half and there's 18 decimal points of precision, I mean, we can just keep going forever. And the relative price that you'll get for completing, adding blocks to the chain should be roughly the same, but just with smaller and smaller percentages, or fractions of one Bitcoin. So theoretically, we should never mine all of them. There's just going to be
technically,
such
yes,
a
you're
small,
correct.
little tiny fraction of it, but that's worth the time that it takes to mine.
Right.
So, will there be 20.99999 million? I mean, yeah, sure, probably. But, well, actually, no, because there's some that have been lost forever, I guess. Anyways, yeah, that's my thesis on that.
Yeah, I was reading somewhere that, well, not reading, but I mean, it would make sense, just the stability of it whenever it's accepted. There has to be three things that happen. One, places have to accept it. Businesses have to use it in some way, shape, or form. I honestly don't think that maybe through the Lightning Network that could be a possibility, but at the rate at which I guess Bitcoin is used, not used, it's speed. Bitcoin's not the fastest currency, of course. We all know that. The Lightning Network does help boost the speed, but that's like a 50-50 shot of being used at businesses. That's one of the things that I feel like probably could hold businesses back. I mean, yes, it's faster than, other traditional transactions that we do besides, just regular money to money transactions, but the validity process, I feel like that's what kind of may shun business away, and they might pick another currency over it, which is probably why all these altcoins are kind of out here. That's kind of my thing. So it's like Bitcoin, like a lot of people say, it's kind of like a store of value. It's seen as gold. It's not seen as, hey, it's just going to be circulating out there one day. Like, we don't trade gold anymore. You have your other currencies and your other fiats in the world, but I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, I feel like it would be at a more steadier pace if it was used, but at the same time, will it? Do you know what I mean?
No, I have no idea what you're saying.
Speed of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
Businesses. Trunks. Hi, puppy. How are you? Can you sit down for me? Sorry, guys, my dog wants to scratch, but wants a butt scratch, but I can't right now. So who were we talking to? We were talking to someone about this too. So I feel like whenever Bitcoin is accepted as at businesses, that's when that would also help probably stabilize the prices because it's just something that's being more steadily used. But at the same time, it's one of the slower currencies in terms of transaction time. Yes, the Lightning Network would assist with that process, but I feel like other currencies would just kind of aid on that perspective. What do you think about that?
No, on both accounts. Other currencies aren't going to help Bitcoin. That doesn't.
Not help Bitcoin,
like saying,
just being accepted at other businesses.
That's like saying the euro is going to help Bitcoin or the U.S. dollar or any currency is helping any currency.
Currencies being used at businesses. I don't think that Bitcoin would be the optimal currency to use as businesses just because of its speed of transaction time. It can speed up over time, of course. Like I said, the Lightning Network can aid that. But I feel like...
Also, no. The Lightning Network doesn't make Bitcoin faster.
It makes the transaction go faster. Yeah, that's what...
It doesn't.
What's his face was trying to do? Pompeo. Trunks, hey.
Yeah, so the Lightning Network is a side chain. It doesn't make the actual Bitcoin blockchain faster.
Lay down. Thank you. I appreciate you, puppy. Let me pull this up. Hold on. So I know it doesn't make Bitcoin itself faster. It just helps with the process of the transactions and the validity behind it, which is why I guess Litecoin, you know what I'm looking for, but that's what Litecoin kind of split off and made its a fork because of it's supposed to be a lighter version of Bitcoin or whatever. So that's why I feel like businesses wouldn't choose Bitcoin as the optimal coin to use. They would probably go with another one. A lot of people push for other ones like Apollo, but let me see here. Feel free to chime in, guys, whenever you feel like it, because I like to talk to you guys. That's my favorite thing to do. Let's do price check real quick. So on my end, as you can see behind us, Bitcoin's at 13,846. On my end, I'm looking at on Binance, Bitcoin's at 13,950. Like I said, it's moving between the 800s and 900s. I saw it go down to 7, so it's in between there. We're almost at 14. That's where our big hurrah is gonna be. We're waiting for that. While we're looking some stuff up, I figured now would be a good time for some background music. I don't like that song. What do you think about Bitcoin utilize more banks and corporations? Do you think Bitcoin will be used in its value? All right, so XRP. XRP is an interesting one. So do I think, and what's up, Tim? Let me put my volume down. Sorry, guys. Let me put this down. Okay, so with XRP being utilized more with banks, XRP, a lot of people have negativity against it just because it's a centralized currency rather than a decentralized currency.
It's not centralized.
Well, it's being used with the government. It's not being used off like Bitcoin. It's people consider it to be centralized.
They're wrong.
So in the aspect of it being located in one place, no, it's not centralized. And the aspect of it being in conjunction with the government, yes. Which is why
Government doesn't mean centralized, though.
Yes, I understand. I understand that. Centralized meaning it's not in one place, not one database. It is technically decentralized. Does run on, different places, different times, whatever. It can't be shut off. However, most people don't like it because it's affiliated with the government. Now, XRP, I condemn them because they are the ones who, I don't want to say they're doing it right, but they're not doing it wrong. Do I think that they should be utilized and accepted more at banks and corporations? Absolutely. SWIFT, very, very old system, very tedious. Doing wire transfers is expensive. I don't know if you've ever done one overseas. I've sent money to my grandfather in the Dominican Republic, and it took days at a time. And even when it comes to, we're actually going through a situation right now like that, where we're supposed to be getting this wire transfer that literally never gets here. And it's not something, it should be something that's instant. We're in 2019 going on 2020. This should not be an issue right now. Do I think that XRP should be utilized? Absolutely. There's more and more banks. Most of them are overseas that are utilizing the currency. They're doing, a little test run. I think they're called pilots whenever they set up the ATMs and let you transfer from one thing to another. Also, I forgot what it was. I had read about it, but I don't think that we should be shunning XRP as a currency just because, banks are not going to go anywhere anytime soon. I do want to say that. Every time I read more and more about how people are hating, especially here in the United States, about shutting down crypto. Oh God, I forgot the name of that guy. He was a Democrat out in California. I was just talking about him too. I don't know if his last name starts with an S, but he was basically trying to ban cryptocurrency because it was going to destroy the US dollar, which yes, theoretically it will destroy the US dollar, but we should not be, holding any one country's currency up to be king. Like, that's not how this works, right? Like, we should have a say in what we want and what we feel like, which is why you have the option to choose crypto. But it should be something that is used. Yes, Mr. Sherman, that guy. Bald-headed with glasses guy. You know exactly what I'm talking about. But anyways, so yes, it should be something that is being utilized more. Just because, again, like I said, SWIFT, very old system, not great, very tedious. Wire transfers are expensive for no reason. Somebody's making money off you and me who doesn't need to be. Banks, they make money off you and me. Banks run because you and me fund the banks, not because banks go, okay, well, we can open up a business. Let's open up a business. No, that's our money that they're playing with. And, by using all these old systems and by charging all these extra fees is how they're making their money and how they're able to reinvest your money, my money, and the interest that they're making off of you to just do, honestly, excuse my French, but bullshit. So yes, I do believe XRP should be used. Tim likes XRP. You tell me, Tim. What do you think?
About what?
XRP being utilized by banks and corporations.
I don't see what the problem is.
Not that there's a problem, but do you think it should be more accepted and utilized?
Well, I'm not a bank, so I don't really have any say in that. If it works, they should use it.
Okay. Yes.
I don't have any issues with XRP. I want it to do well so I can make a ton of money.
Store value. So that's what I was just talking about, actually. I didn't see your second question, but do you think Bitcoin will be used as an actual currency or more as a store of value? That's what I was kind of talking about. There's currencies that have faster transaction time than Bitcoin, which is my only thing. As to why I feel like a lot of people say Bitcoin is a store of value. It's seen as gold. I'm 50-50 with it. I would love to see Bitcoin accepted at stores. Also, I don't know how, as a business owner, if I was to put myself in those shoes, if I'm now accepting, this new currency, not that it's bad currency, but if we're supposed to get faster with, accepting payment for what you're giving me, I'm giving you a service, I'm expecting payment. I would want it almost instant, right? Even though credit cards and debit cards, technically they're able to, accept decline or whatever, they're technically not getting settled on the spot. As a business owner, I would want to be settled sooner than later. So it's one of those things where I'm 50-50 about it. If Bitcoin is used as a currency, great, fantastic. But do I think that there's other currencies out there that can settle faster than Bitcoin? Yes.
So why does that matter?
Like I said, in the perspective of a business owner, I would want to have my settlement right there and then.
But that's not what's happening for them currently. So why would that matter?
It's not, which is why, like I said, like if I'm switching from, like I said, debit card and credit card transaction, right now you get approved decline, but it doesn't settle. You don't get the money right away. But we should be working towards that. And like I said, as a business owner, I would want to be working towards that, not leaving something that's slower from something that's slow when there's something already out there that's faster and has proven to be fast. So, I mean, it's one of those things where, again, Bitcoin would be fantastic if it was accepted at store, but if I can get something that would settle faster, if I want my money and I want it now. So, it's one of those things where, again, I'm 50-50 about it.
I don't see that as being a valid argument.
Well, what's your argument?
No, just that one is just not valid.
For settlement time?
Yeah, for a Visa transaction to actually settle can take 2 to 3 business days.
Right. Like I said, it can approve or decline at the spot, but I don't get my money. And if there's something already out there that's faster than Bitcoin, I would want it. That's my argument against it. As a business owner perspective, as somebody who's just giving it,
that doesn't make any sense.
Any currency would be okay with me.
That doesn't make any sense.
If there's something that can settle right there and then, why would you not want it? If there's a currency that's able to settle as soon as just like if you were handing me cash, there's currencies that are able to do that. Why would I want to accept Bitcoin, which would take, some of them I've seen Bitcoin take 30 minutes to settle, right? Why would I want something to settle in 30 minutes when there's already one that settles in seconds?
Well, first of all, which one settles in seconds? That's my point exactly.
So I don't want to. No, I don't want to say.
But that's my point exactly though.
There's one here which would technically be Apollo. That's one of them that I can think of off the top of my head. I wouldn't use it.
So anyway, my point is that the big name is Bitcoin.
Trunks, can you please? You're throwing me off right now.
The other thing about that is if I'm a business owner, you're trying to use the example for, and I have the option of either 2 to 3 days or 30 minutes, that's a huge leap. That's an extreme technological advancement coming from 2 to 3 days through a company instead of corporations that would be able to hold the money and tie it up, to completely just not needing those corporations ever again, and also still settling within 30 minutes. I mean, that's a huge leap. So I don't see it as like, oh, if there's something faster, I'll use it. Bitcoin is the something faster, and they should use it. If you're used to batching out and getting your money in deposits every other day or however often you're getting your deposits, and they're late, it's not like you're getting, like Monday's deposit is from like Thursday. So I don't see that as being a valid argument that there could be something faster and better. It is fast.
Steam sells in 3 seconds. Tron's is faster than 3 seconds. Yeah, those are a few I was thinking of, but I don't know if they Lightning Network. Yeah.
But Tron is for toys though.
Tron is not. I wouldn't use Tron either. That's not one I would.
That's for toys. That's for like games and stuff.
That's not one I would use for that. There's other currencies that settle faster. Literally, you can name like half of them off the top of your head. XRP, this, and the third, but they're used for other things. They're not necessarily used for payment.
So here's why Bitcoin is and always will be king. This is the only reason it actually matters. So all these other currencies are not currencies; they're companies, and companies are for profit, regardless of who you are, where you're from,
That's a
what you
valid
did.
point.
If you're a company, you're operating for profit because you have people that need to eat. Children, dogs, cats, whatever you have that need food, and you are providing the food for these children, dogs, and cats. So as a company, you don't have a choice. You have to make money, especially if you have shareholders. If you have shareholders, you absolutely have to make money. Bitcoin is no such company. In fact, it's split so many times because it's not actually a company. But all of those splits are companies that are trying to make money, that are holding however much of their currency. We saw the example with Litecoin and Charlie Lee, how everyone was like super gung ho about Litecoin, and then Charlie Lee sold all of his. And supposedly it was so that there wasn't any conflict of interest in this and that and whatever, but I believe that if you believe in your project, you would have held on to it. So there's that. But anything else that isn't Bitcoin is a company, and companies are trying to make money. So
Well, Bitcoin's always going to be king. It was the first, and like you said, it's not a company.
the
It's
first
just really
strike advantage isn't as important as the fact that Bitcoin is not a company, though. That's the part that's really important. It's an ecosystem that literally anyone can participate in. If it were to drastically change one day, we could fork and go back to the way things used to be. Like, I mean, it is quite literally the perfect birthing of a currency that ever has been. And so because of that, that is the reason why it's always going to be king. Not about speed, about anything else. Like that alone right there is the reason why Bitcoin is Bitcoin and nothing else is Bitcoin. So
Real quick, let's do a price check. So again, Bitcoin's still playing between the 13,800s and the 13,900s. Right now, it's at the high 800s off Binance. If we look over on TradingView, what is it at? It says 700 on there. Is that updated on Coin 360?
pulling from different things. This
Pulling
is
from different
Coinbase.
things. Okay. From Coinbase, it looks like we're at
The
in
number
the
on the screen is
sevens.
Coinbase.
Okay. Yeah. So like I said, guys, it varies per exchange that you're looking at. Binance seems to be toggling between the 800s and 900s and the 13,000s. Coinbase seems to be toggling in the 700s. Haven't seen it go. Probably 7 and 8s, it looks like, if this one's toggling between 8 and 9. But like I said, we're almost to that 14,000 mark. Super excited for that. It's going to be a high for the year. Facts, BTC is only 3. Yes, that is a fact, Truce. Look at the monthly chart. Can you pull up a monthly chart for me, Tim? Got you, Truce. It looks crazy. It does look crazy. It does look crazy. I was looking at the monthly chart, and honestly, we've technically had a green candle every month since January. Surprisingly enough, I was on Binance looking at it. We've had a green candle since January. Since January, we've technically been in the green from 2007 and 18. I'm sorry. Which I don't want to say I was surprised, but I was like, really? So last year was honestly the year that everything was kind of just going down. This year is a year where everything looks like it's going to be shooting up overall. And that's just on a 1 month chart. On a weekly chart, things a little bit different, but for the most part, every week has almost ended off green rather than red like we saw in most of 2018. Which is actually pretty freaking cool, if you ask me. There's only 1 week where you would see a heavy dip, and that honestly was at the beginning of this month when Bitcoin was flying up. Most of the other candles, they're pretty much just green overall, so that's super freaking awesome. Without wicks, we are right at that resistance. Resistance is key, my friend. Resistance is key. But like I said, if you're gonna look at any of like anything really, like none of the charts make sense in terms of indicators, just because they would all tell you, you know, Bitcoin's overbought right now. But that's the beauty of it. It's unpredictable. It looks like Tim's chart's acting up, but he will get that month chart for you up shortly.
It's here. It's just
it's doing something. I see it. For the meantime, I'm just gonna take a look at a couple things here. I'm on the wrong exchange. Where's my advanced exchange? This little booty exchange. Let me go back on Binance here. Give me a second, guys. I'm just trying to live my life. I hope you guys are trying to live your life too. I went to sleep. Honestly, I didn't go to sleep until very, very, very early this morning. Super early this morning. No more chargebacks. Yes, no more chargebacks.
Okay.
Can't charge back with crypto.
This I can kind of look at.
Can you zoom in? Is that what you have in trouble with? Zooming in? Would it not zoom in?
This is it. This is what you're looking at.
That is so strange. Okay. Well, guys, we're looking at this chart right behind me. If you see it up in this corner right here, that is the 1 month chart. Like I said, if you look at the beginning of 2019, we've had a green candle every month at the end of the month since, which is outrageous. 2018, you know, that's the year when everything was cooling down. Things were kind of simmering off just for the 2019 year to start, and things kind of just took off from there. And then now we're really seeing things take off just in general overall, which is super awesome. But as you can see, every month since January, there has been a green candle. Let's take a look at some stuff here. All right, so it looks like over on Binance, it looks like we went down to the 700s in the 13,000s. I'm sure probably on Coinbase it went down to the 6, maybe the 5s, depending on.
This is the number that's on the screen right now.
Oh, I didn't look at it. Okay, yeah, it's down to the 6, close to the 5s. They're about $100 off from what I see, more or less. Volume's probably pretty close then. Let's see here. I wonder if this is monthly resistance. It could be, Truce, honestly. It could be. It looks like it just because, I mean, look at it. Just because it looks like it looks. Just because of the way it is. The tree guy. I will never forget that video. It was so funny. Tim showed me this video about some guy who was just looking at trees, and he said that he could tell a tree was a tree because of the way it looks. And I thought it was funny. And it's been with me ever since. Just wanted to let you guys know that. Boop. So, looking at some more news regarding Bitcoin's price, just overall, trying to see, I guess, what other people in the world think. Let's take a look here. Like I said, I'm looking at some stuff. CNBC, talking about a lot of it was due to Facebook's Libra coin. Someone else wants to peg it to oil. I've heard of that too. What do you think about that? I don't know about that one.
What's being pegged to oil?
There's this whole thing that talks about how gold has also been going up. How gold and Bitcoin have been going up steady because of oil. I don't know what that is all about. Let me take a look here. Let me read a little bit. I slightly heard about this one, but this one doesn't make too much sense to me. Okay, so they were trying to say that the gold, Bitcoin, and oil, they all went up at the same time, apparently, something like that. I'm not backing this theory because this one just doesn't make sense to me. But because one started going up, the other, it affected the other. Kind of like when people say like, oh, if the market's going up, so is cryptocurrency. That's what they're trying to say in this situation, but I don't think so. I don't think because the price of oil went up, the price of Bitcoin went up. That doesn't make sense to me. Those are very two distinct. And I'm pretty sure the price of oil went up in Iran, if I'm not mistaken, because there was a drone that was shot down. That was also something that happened, if you guys weren't aware of that. But the one with the oil, that I don't believe that one has anything to do with the price of Bitcoin going up. If anything, the top two reasons is definitely because probably some validity behind Facebook's Libra and the halvening. Those are the two things that I would say could have possibly helped, but oh yeah, I'd say it's more because of Facebook's Libra coin than gold. Yeah, like I said, it's kind of like indirectly Facebook's. I'm sorry, it's kind of indirectly Facebook's coin. From what I've heard, it's more like most people think it's because of so India has a huge ban. I talked about this earlier, but because they have the ban, there's restrictions on cryptocurrencies, of course. If you had your currency already on exchange, they're not gonna, I guess, hold your currency hostage or anything, but there's no new money that can go into the exchanges. So it's kind of, just put on pause as a whole. But because Facebook Libra came out with their coin, India's like, oh, wow, look, even Facebook's doing crypto. Maybe it's not a scam. So I guess that indirect attempt to make your own currency could have possibly influenced foreign markets. Which is what a lot of videos that I've watched have said. So that's one of the things that is, I don't know, it's questionable. It could be. It's not a bad fetch. A lot of it I've also heard that it has to do with politics. There was some government thing the other night, and they're like, oh well, that's why Little Run happened. Maybe, could be, who knows? All I know is that this is a awesome moment to be. So price check real quick. Bitcoin's up in the 13,800s. Like I said, it's just playing in that area right now. It was doing that last night before it hit 13,000. It was, no, not even. It wasn't even hitting 13,000 yet. It was, actually, yes, it was hitting 13,000. It had 12. Actually, it hit 12 last night, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry. It's my days have just been very continuous. I don't even remember. I don't know what day it is right now because team no sleep for real. I fell asleep like probably 7, and then from 7 I think I woke up at like 1, and that's when Bitcoin was just doing its thing. It was at 13,300 when I woke up, I remember, after I took my nap. Now it's at 13,869. It was almost at 14, and it got really, really, really close. So I'm excited for that. Really close. So I guess, what's your experiences, guys, with this whole market situation? Oof. I had some Tron from way back whenever. Justin Sun, you make me sad. But anyways, of course they have that BitTorrent that they added, and they give me the little airdrops every now and then. And like I said, altcoins, it's not your season right now. Altcoins are not doing so great right now. I think Tron's down, or BitTorrent's down by like 16%. Let me take a look. Oh, actually went up. It's down by less than 1% now. Last night it was down by 16%, which was not great. And that's when Bitcoin was still running at that rate. It wasn't even going down or anything. Well, I mean, it hasn't been going down. But a lot of the altcoins are not doing so hot. The smaller ones are not doing hot. The larger ones are doing okay. Just because they have more of a reputation, which would make sense, of course. Let's take a look. But nothing's making numbers like Bitcoin's making numbers. All right, I'm going to pull up some stuff, guys. I'm just going to do a little bit of background music. Feel free to drop some stuff in the chat, and I will get right back to you. All right. So, yes, Facebook is trying to become basically a bank. Yeah, Bitcoin said, "Hey, f the banks." Facebook says, "I am the bank," which is kind of funny. I'm not thrilled about Facebook's coin, and yes, that is probably a reason why they're taking cryptocurrency more seriously now. Yeah, like I said, I've seen a lot of stuff about it, in the news, or not. I don't want to say not mainstream news, but of course, like the crypto world news. Um, some stuff on Twitter too. Buying low, sell high. So yes, Truce, that is true with your altcoins. I wouldn't say right now they're some of them are going low, not even all of them. It's kind of like a 50-50. I mean, Bitcoin overall is on a high. It's I want to say back in November, that's when the altcoins were taking off for the most part, in my opinion, because that's when my Bitcoin Cash was taking off. Um, I don't think XRP did much in November. XRP didn't do much in November, did it? Do you remember? I don't think it did much. We were into there was this other coin. I think it was like WePower and then Raven Coin. Those were also doing numbers. Bitcoin was doing a little bit of numbers back in November, but now it's really doing numbers. But eventually, like I said, it kind of just fell out until 2019, which is really when it did its thing. If you're mostly into XRP, that's cool. XRP is a cool currency. Like I said, it's something that it's valid. It's a valid method. It is an alternative to the Swift system, which, that thing's been around for years. We need to swap that out. I feel like I've missed out on BTC to make anything too crazy, but I still have a little in my portfolio. Let me tell you about Bitcoin, my friend. It is never too late. It's never too late. It's never too late. Unless you're investing into like BTC when it's maybe $1 million. And even then, maybe it's never too late. Right now, this is not a high. This is a year high for BTC, but this is not a high. Please keep in mind that Bitcoin at one point in time hit $20,000, and we are not there yet. So that means you have so many thousands to go between here and there. And historically, if you look at the charts, every run goes higher than the last run. So 100%, this run will go higher than the last run. This BTC run, I don't know if it's this one. I don't know if the charts will cool down in a little bit, and maybe a few months will pass by and then we'll really hit the run. I've been seeing people saying, which it probably won't even fall down to 9,000. I honestly doubt it, just because it's been in a green for the entire year. I don't think it'll fall down to 9,000. If it falls down, it'll fall down a little bit before, I guess, the actual run that most people are anticipating go for. It used to be that Bitcoin was going to cool down and it was going to fall down to 9,000, but since it's almost hitting 14, I don't even think that is a thing anymore, in my opinion. I don't think so. I don't think so, because now what's happening is that people are starting to get curious about Bitcoin again, and it's starting to hit mainstream media. The other day, I think it was on CNBC, they were talking about, I think it was Bitcoin and gold. They were talking about how the gold market was going up, and also Bitcoin was going up. And what's happening is, and people, even in my social media, people are DMing me and asking me, hey, how's this? How do you, I watched your channel, but I don't understand Bitcoin. And that's what really gets people to just jump in, and that's when the market's really going to take off, when people are just jumping in and they're just going for it. So don't feel bad now, because I promise you that this is not a high, right? Like, this is not anytime. I told someone last night that, because they said that a dip was, I think it was 11,800 was the dip for last night, but the real dip for me was at the beginning, at the year end of last year, when Bitcoin was still playing in the high 2000s, right? Like, right now we're way above that. That was the dip for me. But right now, anytime's a good time to buy, just because Bitcoin's gonna go so much more higher than this. Its worth is there. Bitcoin is. Look at it. I don't even have to tell you no more. I'm getting tongue-tied just by looking at it, just by trying to express my enthusiasm for where Bitcoin's going to go, because it's not going to cool off now. it's going. If it cools off now, I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, it is overbought, but in you don't know, you never know. It's one of those things that the volatility is questionable. I thought it was really funny that a friend of mine told me that I don't remember what platform he's created, but he was one of the he was one of the ones who started CoinMarketCap, and he had messaged her saying, you know, what do I do? I'm scared. And I just thought that was so funny because, you know, you got your experts who are out here, but like in reality, like nobody really knows what's going to happen. That's just the beauty of cryptocurrency. You don't really know what's going to happen, but you're just all in there. It's all or nothing. Um, Let me see if charts cool off or not after the supply gets choked after the halving. Rocket time. Yes. Listen to Truce. Truce knows what he's talking about. That's what happened last time. If you look at the charts, every 4 years it happens. Just look at the charts. The charts tell you what's gonna happen, and that can go for a lot of things. If you look at some trading, I guess maybe some stocks. I can't think of one that has also followed a trend, but over time, things after they get hit a certain low, they're gonna go to a high. That's just how the market works. That's how market works. But I will be right back, guys, because my computer is dying and I need another charger. BRB. right, guys, we should be good. Looks like our audio is moving. Sorry about that. Completely forgot to do a check. All right. So, if you guys just watched, looks like Bitcoin took a little bit of a dip. Let's take a look here. Yeah. So now it was at a 21% increase. Right now, it looks like it's at a plus 12. Looks like there was some dumping happening, really, because that was a spike down. There was a big amount of sell-offs. Let's take a look at some stuff here. Looks like Bitcoin is dropping pretty drastically at the moment. It's at 12,600. That was probably a pop. I'm hoping it wasn't, because I honestly love this little run, but everything must be corrected. All good things sometimes come to an end. I honestly, like I said, I thought it was going to happen sooner. I'm surprised it lasted this high, but if this is this little bubble pop right here, then we've had a good run. Almost hit 14,000. Not quite. Yeah, it looks like it's dipping down pretty low here. Let me go into the market real quick. Yeah, it dropped pretty down, Truce. Like we're looking at the charts right now. It's doing something. It's doing something, honestly. Looks like it's going back up just a little bit here. There is some resistance happening, it looks like. It's bouncing back up a little bit, but honestly, it's not where it was. We're down a little bit, about over 1K right now. On my end, we're down about 1,300 more or less right now. It was hitting the 11,000s. So it dropped really, really quick, but it looks like it's bouncing right back up. It looks like somebody sold off and honestly went right back in. That's what it looks like to me. Looks like we're climbing up a little bit more now for the most part, going back towards that $13,000 mark. We're playing around in the mid 12,000s.
Mid 12s?
Mid 12s. You have 11 on yours for Coinbase. Coinbase is in the 11 still. Mine's in the mid 12s. Now we're going to the low 12,200. Don't know how I feel about this. This is making me a little weary. Just a little bit. I mean, I know, this is just a very small incremental increase to where Bitcoin will actually be. But the size of this red candle right now, do you guys see the size of this candle? It is huge. It is a huge candle. Like, it makes no sense. What is that? 14%? 14% drop. Jeez.
That all happened within the span of 30 minutes. Not even.
No, not the drop happened soon. It happened like this drop's been going on for like maybe 10 minutes now, if that. Not even, maybe 5. It's been really quick. What is that, like 15 minutes? And this over the span of 15 minutes now. All right, so it looks like we're back down to the 11,000s here on my end. Looks like Coinbase is 11,700. I'm in the high 11,000s still. These charts are moving, guys. These numbers are moving. Yeah, we're playing right now between the 12s and the 11s. Oh, Bitcoin. Oh, Bitcoin. What do we have here? Just follow for the heck of it. That's the spirit, Truce. That is the spirit. I like your thinking. Yeah, I just put another order in to get some more because you never know. Yeah, it looks like it's steadily climbing back up a little bit here. It's a little bit, it's climbing up a little bit. Okay, so not all hope is lost. Okay, so we got a green candle on its way up. Watching these charts very closely. Okay, we're going back to the 600s. It looks like we're climbing. We're climbing, guys. We're climbing. All hope is not lost. Awesome, awesome, awesome. This is awesome, guys. I'm loving this. Stop losses got triggered. Facts, Trues. I had a few that got triggered too, and I had to buy back in almost immediately because I was not ready to get out just yet. They are having a ball right now. Oh man, I set some stuff up last night. In case it fell back down into the 11s, and it kind of did for a little bit. I had it set at 11,999, and it triggered, and I was like, no. So I had to buy back in almost immediately, but you know, it's all good. It's all good. I'm not worried. Yeah, it looks like we're going back into the 13,000s slowly but steadily. Very interesting. Oh man, so the Coinbase app is down, guys. I don't know how many of you guys have the Coinbase app, but it looks like some of you may be experiencing some errors. Personally, I also was experiencing some errors on Binance the other day. It was not doing me such a great deal.
Definitely have an error.
Oh man, look at that. Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. It's not awesome for you guys. If you're having an error with Coinbase, I apologize, but this is just this is it. This is it. This is it. Looks like we're going Something went wrong. Oh no, my Binance. That's actually a really cute 500 air. It has like a little thing. Okay, let's try to figure this out because it looks like there's just stuff that's crashing and I'm not sure what's going on.
So Coinbase and Binance at the same time?
Yeah, Binance is giving me an error, see? Binance is giving me an error. It's
Coinbase says that website, mobile, and the APIs all have a major outage.
Yikes.
Yeah, 4 minutes ago they started having issues and they're currently investigating degraded performance for one reason or another. I'm assuming because everyone tried to jump on and sell and they couldn't handle.
It. Figured. Yeah, people are trying to jump on and sell immediately, but the price is going back up. We're slowly but surely. It looks like it's going back up a little bit. I don't want to say this is a first indicator of. Well, this actually is an indicator of the market possibly slowing down a bit. This is what happened last time, back in November, where everything just shot up immediately. And then it came crashing down, but then it steadied out, and then it crashed down again, then it steadied out, and then it crashed down again, then it steadied out. But it was slowly just depleting over time. So this could be an indicator saying that, hey, the market may be exhausted. It may cool off for a little bit until the actual run coming up later on in the year. September is when I'm hearing, for the most part, from some of the friends that I've been talking to, is when they're hoping that this really takes off. Now it was kind of a surprise. It was a surprise to me. It was a surprise to a lot of people. Shout out to Bitcoin Gator over on Twitter. He was shorting out at first, but then he realized maybe it wasn't time yet. He realized it wasn't time yet, but this may be a sign that the market is in fact possibly going to be cooling off. Cash App still works, and so does BitTrax. Got it. They don't want us to buy the dip. My friend, he bought when it was hitting 11. He tweeted it. So, I mean, this is pretty exciting to me. But you're right. They don't want us to buy the dip. It's moving too fast, but we're going to do it. I'm actually going to set up a few things here because this is pretty awesome in my opinion. Oh, there I am. Okay, so it looks like Coinbase is 12,520. Binance is 12,740. Tickers are going, guys. It's going. Slowly but surely. Let me go do an advanced exchange. I've been on this little baby exchange for the longest. Oh, look at that candle. Goodness gracious. That is disgusting. Take a quick look at my balances here because, man. Okay. All right. Thankfully, I'm not down by that much, just because things are bouncing up and because I bought in back when it hit a lower number just now, when it just dipped. A lot of my stop losses kind of triggered on the way down. But I was here to buy back in, so we're okay. We're doing good. This is all that matters. Don't mind me. I'm just enjoying my chips while I watch these charts. On Binance, it looks like we're fighting back to get into the 13,000s here. Yes, truth, it is very healthy. I do agree with you. A little bit of a pullback. But look at this side. You see that red candle shot down so quick. Look at these green candles coming back like it's no problem. I love it. I love it. I love to watch this. This is amazing. Let me go to a 15-minute chart here. Actually, a 5-minute chart on my computer here. I think the 5-minute chart's also up on the screen. But that is the way here. Let me... real quick. Set up some stop losses here, guys, real quick. Yeah, we're fighting to get back into that 13,000 mark again. I'm sure you guys can see that because this in itself is pretty awesome here. Yeah, so it looks like Binance is back up, thankfully, so that's good. The exchange was never down on Binance. It was just the wallet portion for the most part. But we're okay now. We're back in business. That's all that matters. All right, so it looks like I'm up again. Awesome. So I didn't get too much of a loss on there, but this is awesome. But to set up some positions, do a little day trading. Let's have some fun with this because there is some movement going on here. Anything can happen. That's the most exciting part about it. Anything can happen. I'm just going to put a little background noise on here. Don't mind me. But again, make sure to jump in the chat in case you have anything to say. I was so scared. Me too. I was honestly mortified when I saw that drip. It was very scary, and I'm pretty sure that's what caused a lot of the apps to crash. Because there's no way nothing else caused all those apps to crash. Like those numbers came crashing down, and it was scary. It was so scary, but it's awesome. We're here though. We're here to triumph, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Yes, Truce. Couldn't have said it better. Couldn't have said it better. The market is going. It is going, but man, so I had some I don't know why I had USDT because USDC is the way to go, but I had some I had my thing set up to some USDT, so that was That was a lifesaver, honestly. When I hit that drop, I was just like, ah. Which USDT right now is higher than USDC, ironically enough. So I'm not upset about that. So that's one thing. Very interesting. Very interesting. But they're very close in numbers, to be honest. Close, but not close. That makes sense. But it's pretty cool. Pretty awesome. So let me go back here, watch some more of these charts. But it's okay. We're all on the same boat. I feel you. I feel you 1,000%. Okay, it looks like we're playing in the 12,700s again, back up to 12,800s. Now I'm trying to see if we're gonna break 13,000 again. I really hope so, because that was just a major dump. That was a major poop. The market just took a little poop right there. All right, looks like we're shooting down a little bit. We're playing between the 7 and the 6. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna go back down to the 500s over on Binance. Over on Coinbase, looks like it's about the same price, more or less. It's actually holding up more steady than Binance right now, surprisingly enough. Is Coinbase app still down? Let's take a oh well, actually you're right. Is Coinbase still down? That's actually a valid point. You're right. I forgot about that. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so if you guys are using Coinbase, again, I apologize. Probably use another exchange. Coinbase honestly is just a way to get in, and even Binance. So those are ones to just kind of get in there. There's a lot of newer platforms that are coming out. I've heard a lot about Bybit. Somebody had told me about that one the other day, and I actually saw it on Twitter. Kind of just someone else using it, a different person. So I thought that was interesting. I'm actually gonna think about checking out some more. I guess one of those platforms. Looks like Binance 12,600. Let's take a look here. You know, I want to dig up some more news, but at the same time, I don't want to take my eyes off these charts because that was a close one. Like I said, I also feel like this is another indicator for the market possibly being a little cool. That was a huge spike down. That was a huge dump. Those were prices that we haven't seen in over a 24-hour period. So it was a little scary, little nerve-wracking there, but it's okay. We can keep it going. Crypto entrepreneur claims to focus on Bitcoin and not blockchain. Wow, what wise words. Please note my sarcasm.
What?
That's what I said. Who said this? I'm actually very curious who said this because, wow.
Wife and kids think I'm crazy because I watch those graphs all day. Well, here's the thing. You are crazy. You shouldn't watch it all day. If you're actively day trading and that's your job, then you should commit 8 hours a day, whatever the best 8 hours is going to be, and spend the rest of the time with your family. The important part of life, to get a little philosophical here, let me not say the important part. The actual currency of life is time. It's the only thing that is actually finite. Everything else in the world can be recycled and reused. Once you spend time, you can never get it back. And so you're either going to spend time or you're going to invest time. Either way, you have a finite amount and you have to use it wisely. I would definitely recommend limiting the amount of time that you spend in front of a chart and maximizing how much time you spend with the wife and kids. So those are my 2 cents on that.
I honestly second that opinion.
I'm not trying to say, don't watch the charts, but definitely if this is something that you're doing as a hobby, treat it as such. If this is something that you're doing as a job, treat it as such. Clock in for your 8 hours a day and then spend time with your family. Very important.
Just a quick update. It looks like Bitcoin's going back down a bit. Over on Binance, we were just at 12,800, 700. We're at 12,400s, more or less 300s. Like I said, this is one of the indicators from last time that happened when that little bull run back at the end of last year happened. Everything kind of just started dropping, but it would go back up, but it would keep dropping, but it would go back up a little bit, and then it would keep dropping. That seems to be what's happening right now a little bit. It's still a little too early to tell whether or not this is going to continue to be a trend. And at that point in time, ladies and gentlemen, maybe our little run has come to, I want to say a hiatus because it will be back. It's not over. It'll take a little hiatus, but that is a possibility. That is something that happened last time, just a few months back. Of course, personally, I'm looking forward to next year. That is my year. Between next year and 2021, those are the years that I'm looking forward to when Bitcoin really does its thing. It's going to do a bang, bang, boom. This one took most people by surprise. But as long as we continue to see an uptrend, every month we continue to end in the green, that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we're looking for, in my opinion. So, back to this guy. So I like what this guy says where the headline is misleading, right? It says not to focus on Bitcoin, focus on blockchain. And you would see that and you're like, what do you mean? But at the same time, the way he explains it.
You read that backwards.
Yes, I did read it backwards. To focus on Bitcoin. No, I did. Focus on Bitcoin, not on blockchain.
No, the first time you said it backwards.
Okay. So focus on Bitcoin and not on blockchain, which you would read that and you're like, what do you mean? But the way he lays it out is actually a very valid point. What he says is that a lot of companies are coming out, embracing blockchain and making it look like this hip, cool thing that, is full of broken promises, I want to say. And that's true because that's something that we've seen very often. Everybody has tried to jump on the blockchain bandwagon. The other day, I think it was a car company that was trying to put the car parts on the blockchain and they had a token and you're sitting here like, why? Like, why? Really? Why? So he's not wrong. I do agree on that aspect. And he does point out that Bitcoin's unique database and architecture and the way it's immutable and the way it's, put together is the way that most companies should be designing something if they are going to make it, which is also a valid point. It's a little bit misleading, but after I read it, it made more sense. So it's interesting. I like that. I do like it. Just checking in with a little price check. 5-minute charts is what I'm looking at. 3 red candles down. Wicks are mostly pointing down for the most part. Let me do a little bit of this. Let me pull up some indicators here. Yeah, so it looked like the...
I don't know about that article. I don't... To say focus on Bitcoin, not blockchain...
It's a little misleading. Focus on...
If you're trying to make money, yeah, focus on Bitcoin, not on blockchain. But if you're here for the tech...
if you're here for the tech, blockchain is...
These decentralized databases are awesome. Like the article was trying to explain, they're a little underwhelming in their current applications. And there is little to no benefit for the end user for a company switching over to a blockchain-based database or a blockchain-style database compared to what they're currently doing. So in that regard, yes, the article was correct, but to title it "Focus on One and Not the Other" just kind of seems silly to me.
It seems misleading.
So.
Yeah, I agree with you on that part. It seems a little strange.
Again, obviously, if your interest is making money, then yes, focus on Bitcoin, not on blockchain right now. We haven't seen a good enough application of it that it actually matters. Having physical things on the blockchain is just not something that I'll probably ever be excited about. Like those companies that are trying to do like collectibles and shit like that on the blockchain, I just don't.
Right.
I don't really care.
I agree with you.
The coolest application that I've seen is just taking a currency and putting it on one of these. Like, this is the coolest thing I've seen when it comes to blockchain tech. These things.
Oh, the cars, NFC.
From Tangum or Tangum, however
yeah. There was another company that did that too. I don't remember the name of it, but
Rocket something.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. Our homegirl.
Just a quick price update, guys. Bitcoin is hitting those 11,000 right now. It looks like it's steadily going back up a little bit though. Just a tad bit.
So you do know they can see it, right?
Well, I'm doing the Binance chart. That's the Coinbase chart. Which is Coinbase still down? Can you see it on your phone? Is it still down, or is it back up? Like, what's going on? Did they figure it out? Did they not figure it out? Let me see here.
Still says error.
Error, yeah. So Coinbase still looks like it's down, guys. Again, my apologies. Sad moment. Yeah, it looks like the market. So what I'm seeing right now, markets taking a little bit of a cool off. To be honest, not all day, but when they're watching my graphs. If your family is doing something while you're doing something else, nothing wrong with that. Not one thing. Like, now would be an appropriate time to look at your chart because you're watching a YouTube channel looking at charts. Great time. Yeah, I don't want to say I'm worried because I'm not worried with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, there's not a doubt in my mind, but it does look like it's gonna cool off a bit. There's a little green candle that's forming up right now on the 5-minute chart. If you look at, what is that, the MACD, I believe there was a crossover when right after the second 5-minute candle formed, it crossed over, and then there was just this huge spike down. Yeah, and then if you look back, when was this? In the 26th, earlier today. There was a little hop when they crossed over earlier, and now during this crossover is when it just shot down. So very interesting. Yeah, it looks like it's going down for the most part right now. It's bouncing back down into the 900s over on Binance. Looks like on Coinbase it's in the 700s and 11,000. So it's out of the 12s. There's major sell-offs right now for the most part that I'm seeing. A little bit of green, a lot of red, and it's just toggling back and forth. So we may just have caught the end of our little run. It's dipping really low right now. It's going down into the 800s, 11,000s on Binance. Looks like it's playing the 7s on Coinbase. But it looks like maybe our little run may just be coming to a hiatus. Because I don't like the word end. It's not coming to an end.
Wow, News BTC has a story about. They literally just wrote that. Like someone like literally just typed that up. That's crazy. Bitcoin drops 2,000 in minutes. Crypto exchanges struggle to run amid volatility. Like they literally just wrote that.
Yeah, no. 2 minutes ago it was put up. Just under 12,000. Yes, sir. Yes, it did.
Wow, they meant to write across the board.
What do they write?
Exchanges the board.
Where do you see that? I'm trying to find it. During this move, exchanges the board across the board. That's funny. I mean, that's what happens when you just try to slap it together. All right, it looks like we're going up a little bit, but like I said,
Wow, that's so funny.
What?
The way this is written reminds me of, damn, did you ever watch Parks and Recreation?
A little bit.
So the reporter that they have, or one of the like news anchors that they have on the show, his name's Perd Hapley, and this is like how he starts his like sentences. This reporter has a question about blah 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 blah, like the way he just words things, and this reminds me of that. This writer has corroborated those claims.
This writer has corroborated those claims.
Like why I don't like why would you? That's so weird to write about yourself in the third person.
I know people who speak in the third person.
You know some weird people then. Because that doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that?
I don't know. You've never heard anyone speak in third person?
Not like seriously. Like as like a practical joke. Like a ha-ha. But that's weird. You should not do that.
As like a ha-ha.
Like you should not. There's no reason for anyone to ever do that and try to like be serious about it. So.
Hey, real quick price update. Looks like we're going back into the 12,500s for the most part. There's a strong green candle that's forming.
Also, we do have the prices across the bottom of the screen as well.
Yes, I'm aware. I pointed it out.
Okay.
Pointed it out. Where is that one pulling from? Is that like an average of all of them? Where is that pulling from?
That's an average.
Average? Okay.
Well, it's not an average. It's an aggregate, but it's an average.
Okay.
Speaking of, I should probably sign up for Binance.us.
When is that whole thing happening, to be honest? Because I have not been paying attention.
September 12th is the last day to use Binance.
Oh, that's fine. I'll figure it out between now and then. Okay, so...
Oh, I guess it's not ready yet.
Probably not, if it's that far out. So we took a little bit of a spike up, but it looks like we're going back down. Another red candle's forming. Yeah, this to me is something that happened very, very similar back to when that little run happened back in November. This is looking very familiar to me. I've ran this rodeo before. This looks familiar. So, like I said, there is a 50% chance, because I can't say 100 because crypto is very unpredictable, that this may be a little hiatus that we may be taking. just because of that huge dip that we just took. It looks like we're trying to catch up, but after we get to a high, people are starting to dump some more of their coins. So it's like they're trying to get to high just to dump some more. That's what it looks like. I'm sure day traders right now, you guys are having a blast and a half because listen, this is whew, very interesting. Yeah, it looks like we're playing in the 12,300s, 200s over on Binance. Over on Coinbase, if you guys are able to get back in, I'm not sure yet. Last time we checked, there was still an error. You guys should be probably in the high 11,000s, high to mid, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, but for the most part, it looks like we're going down again. We're going down to the low 12,100s. Man, oh man, it was a good little spike. Good little spike.
That's
BitPay
nifty.
gives you 25% off when you use crypto to pay at bitcoinandart.com. Ah, okay. So it's something that's very specific. I see. Interesting.
Yeah, BitPay is not that lit. They have fees, boy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it works. Like, it definitely works. I have a couple.
Yeah, so we're going back down. Looks like we went down another couple $100. There we are. There we are. Oh, I see it. Now it's on the screen.
I like this website.
What's the whole website?
It has the real 10 volume and a whole bunch of other interesting stuff. The percent down from all-time high.
A lot of those altcoins, they just took a whole shit. They took a poo-poo. Ethereum and Stellar are still up, but for the majority of the other ones, it looks like they're pretty... Honestly, why is Bitcoin SV still around? Did you know that 98% of Bitcoin SV's volume was coming from the weathersv.com website?
What website?
Weather SV.
What is that?
It's a weather website. I didn't look too much into it to even care, but it's literally just a weather website. If you go to weathersv.com, I think it is. I was on it last night. I was trying to look up local weather in our area, but you have to pay for it to be active for everyone else if it's not already active. Like, that's a whole thing. And I was like, really? Let me see if I can go on it.
So, okay. So
Weather SV.
there's a website called openweathermap.org.
Oh, at weathersv.app. I'm sorry.
Which is basically just...
It's this one.
It's just a website that has weather. And so that app is apparently just copying the data from this website and putting it onto the blockchain.
Yeah, so this is what it looks like.
That's making up 98% of their volume.
98% of their volume. I was like, what a freaking, like, what? Look at that. Isn't that crazy?
Hold on. Weather. It's literally weathersv.com.
It's not. It's .app. I don't know why it's .com on there.
So that's not a thing?
I went on it and it didn't pull it up for me. It reroutes it to app.
Same thing. That's fine.
Yeah, that's it. That's 98% of where our volume is coming from right now. Which I just think is outrageous. If that's not a ha-ha to the face, I don't know what is. That is a ha-ha to the face. that? What are you doing? Why? Oh God. Why do you exist? I cannot.
Sometimes you gotta just email people and just figure out why they exist.
Apparently. I just don't even know why that's a whole thing. Like, it's just so funny. When I saw that, I was like, that's crazy. And there's only 2,724 channels active, which means there's what is that, over 1 million of them to be like activated. Like, it's crazy. Like, if you look up Coral Springs, Florida, you have to pay $5 in order to get that channel active, which is like, what, really? Like, it's stupid.
So I'm assuming that the ones that have the little thing are already active,
Right.
and the ones that don't
Are closed.
So, like, I mean, okay, so in this example right here, not that this means anything to probably any of yous watching, these are, for the most part, interchangeable. So, like, if I lived in Miramar, I would not pay when Pembroke Pines is available.
Right.
Because it's the same thing. Like,
Right.
it's not...
Yeah, they're very close together in radius.
The way that a lot of the towns or cities or whatever some of these things are work over here is like they're literally just stacked on top of each other, and some of them are only like, you know, like two major, you know, boulevards or roads or whatever, and then like, you know, little streets that just keep going through all these different neighborhoods. Like, it doesn't make any sense to, like, hold on, let me zoom in.
So I didn't click to see what happens if a channel's active. What happened? Like, does it just tell you the information? Like, click on one of the active channels and see what it says.
So NMB, let's see what NMB says. So it gives you the information for NMB.
I see. Okay, so it'll just give you the information if it's active. If it's not active at that point in time, then you have to pay $5 to activate it, which is like, what?
But
why?
Why?
Exactly. Real quick, guys, price update. We're bouncing back from the 11,000s back into what almost looks like the mid 12s. Little bit of consolidation happening here, just a little bit. I'm looking at a 5-minute chart. Let me look at a different chart right here. Let me do a 1-minute chart just for shits and giggles. Yeah, a little bit of consolidation happening on a 1-minute chart.
Is this something that people are afraid of?
Afraid?
That like weather information won't be available?
I don't know, honestly, and I don't know why it's there.
Cuz this isn't some new way of generating the information. It's just a new way of storing it. So, like, is that a fear that people have? That
There's so many weather channels and weather shits that I don't understand why.
Right, but those are also already backed up several times over, and there's multiple different options to choose from. And Google literally caches everything. So, like, I don't understand, I guess.
There's no reason to have this. Not one.
I just don't get it. Like, what is...
This should not be a thing.
What is the compelled benefit of backing up weather to the blockchain?
None.
That is my question for the chat right now. Like, can someone think of any compelled benefit for that? Because I cannot imagine why I would pay money.
There is none, honestly. Like, I don't see
weird.
a reason why that would be a thing. Personally, I don't know about you, but there's none. Just another price check. Another red candle forming on a 30-minute chart. That's 3 red candles in a row as of right now. Most of the wicks are in a downward position, which, oddly enough, someone taught me. I don't know if it's true. When he was showing me, it looked pretty accurate, but he likes to tell the charts by the wicks. He doesn't use actual indicators, which I think is kind of funny. Which sometimes indicators may or may not help you out, depending on the volume of the market, because it's just literally everywhere. But he likes to look at the wicks, and like most of the wicks right now are pointing down, which is funny because the candles right now are all pointing down, ironically enough. But that's another story for another day. looks like we're playing, like, again, a lot of consolidation happening for the most part. For the day, we're still at a green. For the overall momentum, we're still at a green. But again, this may just be a farewell for the time being. Because that was a major hit. That was a major blow that crypto hit. Or that Bitcoin hit. A lot of the altcoins, again, not in a good predicament for the most part. Not hot. Let's see what crypto Twitter is up to.
Oh, speaking of Twitter, I finished getting my Twitter handle ready.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's exciting. Yeah, guys, a lot of consolidation's happening right now. When consolidation happens is usually when, again, things not only start to cool down, but begin to take a little bit of a dip. So, sighing right now. May just honestly just watch these charts for a little longer. And probably just drop it off right here because it looks like stuff is kind of just toggling along. I just highly encourage you guys to possibly, make some moves if you need to make some moves. If you just like to hold, just hold. For the most part, I think that's about it for right now. I was really hoping we were going to catch that 14,000 mark, but after that huge red candle, it doesn't look like it. Just a lot of consolidation. Yeah, that's it for the most part, guys. I think we're gonna stop our stream here. I appreciate everyone who was here today to assist us in our watch party, because I mean, we're not gonna get to see that 14K, but at least we all came together to come do it. So, until then, this is Annalise. And this is Tim. And you're watching Bits and Tokens. Take care. Bye-bye.